Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Padawan Unlimited YouTube channel. I'm your host, Gil, and today I wanted to take the opportunity to say a couple things. First, you know, thank you so much for watching. We're at 60 subs now, which is always great to see. Roughly 10 new subs every week and a half or so, which is, for me, a fantastic growth to see people who like the content and also, actively participate in comments and such. So please feel free to leave some. I'm always happy to, to answer any questions, give it extra thoughts. And kind of go back and forth with you on Star Wars Unlimited, this game that we all enjoy. So again, as always, I want to give thanks to you all. And then on to the main thing. Today, I really want to talk about set three and updating the tier list that I provided about a month and a half ago. October 22nd, 2024 is when I provided a non-definitive set three tier list, just based on initial, thoughts of where we would be. And now that I've played at a variety of events, weeklies, casuals, and convention, for example. I know my personal experience with them has gotten better, so I have a better understanding of where or how things play, and then also just looking at that competitive scene for any of those of you who are looking to try to get first place at a local store showdown or do well in PQs. I'm giving an indication of which leaders in set three, if you plan on playing a set three leader, may or may not be more viable. So, if you like what you see or hear, please remember to like, subscribe, tell your friends. Would love to grow this channel organically, and then also stay tuned until the end for a special clip on unboxing that I did for a 2024 convention exclusive pack that I have, and also a special announcement regarding that. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy. So, before I kind of go into all the cards, I really want to share, how I grade. I did this the first time, and someone left a really good comment on maybe something we should add for how I grade. So, again, I prioritize constructed, limited, then twin suns, and it's all within the set. So I'm not necessarily comparing these leaders to other leaders explicitly. It's for me, it's unfair to compare like a Sabine to a Pre Vizsla, right? This is a set three. Um, this is a set three review, right? So I want to be more clear with that. And then also, constructed is where all the competitive people come out to play. It is, the most popular form of the game, so that obviously has a lot of weight. Limited in terms of sealed and draft, right? That's also very important for people to get new cards. Like for those of you who might not be buying cases right off the bat, and you're kind of collecting your cards, playing, doing all that each week with your local, community. That's also very important. And then Twin Suns, right? This is, I think, also seeing a lot more play, especially since we're getting more and more cards, so you have a lot more options. So this is those are the priorities in which I grade that assist me in grading the leaders. So just because someone's really good and constructed might not necessarily mean they're good and limited, and vice versa. The next one is the overall benefit of the flip mechanic, or the epic action. So how powerful that is one of the next thing that I find very important, and also stats. So if they're like a 1/8 flipping on 7, those are really bad stats, right? Not that that exists, but I'm just saying like uh, those two things, the flip mechanic and the leader stats, are really what I always try to measure. And then finally, a secondary, tertiary importance. And then finally, just ease of use. So specifically, if you're a new player, like for me, I still consider myself a new player. I only started playing TCGs, it's specifically and even more specifically Star Wars Unlimited, a week after it released. Back in March of 2024. So I'm still relatively new to the game. There's a lot of things I need to learn, and mechanics I still need to kind of truly understand. So ease of use is really important, especially for new players, and especially if you're going into draft, right? If you're mostly a drafter, because you get those wins early on. Some stores might give you 7 packs for going undefeated 3-0, or there's a tangible benefit for doing well, and having leaders that didn't necessarily have to think too hard and you could just like play is always really good. And I think that, helps me with the grading as well as the for new users, what that might be useful for them, or new players, what that might be, how it might be useful for them. So again, these are just four major points. If you have any thoughts on how I should, then how this should change, how I should grade, or how I should present this information in the future, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm always open to feedback and change. And I know I'm not perfect, so I don't expect all my content to be perfect. And I want to, tailor it to you, the listeners. Okay, moving on. So I kind of bundle these into to D and F. Not necessarily that these are unplayable, but I do consider some of these leaders to be just not really there, I guess. Um, and it's also not necessarily any particular order. So I don't think like Padme Amidala is like the worst one. It might be, but like in this sense, it's not the worst one, or probably Pre-Vizsla, just because it's on the right hand side of the screen or left hand side of the screens doesn't really dictate the level of the tier. It's just this is the tier in general. So the first one I have here, and I was kind of high on her at first. I don't know why. I think I just like the idea of searching for cards. Padme Amidala, not really seeing any play. Even people who pull her showcases are trying to get rid of her. I've seen it happen live at an event. They're trying to get rid of Padme as a showcase because although it's a beautiful showcase, how she plays and what she does just takes too much. It's an action, and you have to pay a resource, and it requires coordinate, and you're only searching the top three cards to draw for Republic cards specifically. When she flips on five, the stats are not that great. I mean, they're okay. She has restore one, okay. Just and then on attack is search the top card. There's too much stuff going on here that requires her to do okay. And I don't really see her ever getting past this tier. Now let's say I'm actually debating whether or not to bump her up to C. I'm keeping her in D right now because again, it's not just constructed, but we think about all the other formats, like specifically draft or limited like draft or sealed. I don't really ever see her win, and she only has one trait, Kaminoan, right? Not even separatist, right? Ignore aspect penalty on clones. It's pretty useful. It comes out of 4 really early as a 1/7. You can have some heals. I think I've only ever lost to a Nala Se deck one time in a month and a half. And I'm talking about like live as well as it like in a store as well as on Carabast. I've only ever lost one time. Maybe, she'll get figured out, like some type of not red, blue green villainy deck, with top ending like reinforcement walker, and you're kind of just stabilizing that the board. Maybe that might happen in the future, but for now, she's mostly maybe D, borderline C. I do like the access to clones, but it's she's not that good. In my opinion, General Grievous, keeping him in the D tier as well. It's an action which requires you to place a droid first. You get Sentinel. It's too easy to pop. It's not worth it to invest in Grievous, especially coming out on 6 as a 4/8. Okay, he has some decent stats, but not extravagant. And then his on attack ability is again, it's okay. Give a droid a Sentinel for this phase. It's whatever. Pre-Vizsla, I think he's gonna potentially be good in the future. I just don't think he's ready for this set. Kind of like Dr. Afra from set 2. Pre-Vizsla, I have not lost to this leader in any format. But it seems interesting because you pay an action to essentially have a removal, but you need to have a lot of cards in hand. Let me move myself here so you can see it. And then when he flips, depending on what cards you have in your hand, you can get other abilities. I love the Mandalorian trait as well as Trooper trait. Decent stats. He becomes a 6/6 if you get 6 or more cards in your hand. But again, I don't think he's prime time ready. Real good looking card, I suppose. But he's not really playable. Again, I haven't really even lost to him in any form or fashion when I played. Okay, moving on to C tier, and I'm gonna move myself again. I gotta figure a better way to do this. So C tier again, these are playable decks. I think are they going to be like store showdown winners or PQ winners? No. I mean, maybe if you're a really good pilot and like you have just really good, draws, and just you're face off against opponent that you're good against. But C tier for me is you're gonna pull some wins, maybe 2-1. You might get a lucky 3-0 from time to time. Um, Ahsoka is one of them. She's, I think, very powerful. She can be. I usually get coordinate off at 5 resources unless someone is being very, very heavy control. She has some interesting combos. Red heroism is not a bad thing to have, but again, I don't see her going the distance. Um, uh, in terms of or showdowns or PQs, for example. Captain Rex, I love this guy. I mean, I wish he could perform better. I think that he might sneak in some wins in competitive play, but there's a lot of answers to him. Again, if you keep the board clean. And even if you just leave him on the board, don't take him so that he like don't take him out so that he can't play his 2 cost action on the first side, so he can't create clone trooper tokens. He becomes really kind of like meh as a character. Um, I've built a very various versions of this deck, and I've done well. I haven't won out like completely like blown out anybody. It's always a close matchup, kind of no matter how I play. Again, playable, gonna get some wins. C tier. Mace Windu is I think I've seen some traffic again with him on aggro and maybe blue, but again, nothing really, really super strong with him. Late, I think he just comes out too late, and a blue red control deck of some sort, hand destruction. I mean, Ray Red just does it better for longer, I think. Maybe we'll see someone pull out surprises with him, but he's okay. But again, he's just a good old playable guy for a fun deck. You want a casual time. Maul, I like Maul. I actually pulled his showcase in some of the first couple boxes that I got for set 3. I like Maul. Red black, he has overwhelm, and every other unit gains overwhelm when he flips. He comes out at 6 as a 6/6. Okay, pretty good. He's Force Underworld, not Sith. So he does synergize well with set 2. Um, I haven't figured him out. I think there's been other occasions where people have done like an exploit version of him. Again, but I haven't seen any high level wins from him. He's okay. At the end of the day, you have to set up a lot. If there's a lot of setup you need to have just to get the overwhelm and clean the board, which is theoretically good, but in practice, I'm seeing that it doesn't really it's not fast enough. There's a lot of answers to him. Can C tier continued? Newt Gunray, Count Dooku, Wat Tambor, Chancellor Palpatine, all these bad guys. Again, I haven't really lost to a lot of these decks. Some of them are really fun. Don't get me wrong. It's just I think there's just too many answers to them. Well, we'll talk about Chancellor Palpatine in the end, Darth Sidious in the end, but Newt Gunray, Count Dooku, Wat Tambor. So Newt Gunray, I was originally high on him, but he just comes out kind of weak, and all he does is create more Battle tokens, which means that you have to build like exploit around him, right? Or you should probably build exploit around him. But then you're just wiping your board, and then it just feels bad when an exploited unit can just be removed like that same turn. So you just clear your board for that, and that's the same issue with Count Dooku. I think theoretically exploit's really good, but in practicality, coordinate is a much better keyword. So in terms of constructed play, these guys are okay. In terms of limited play, or even Twin Suns, they're okay as well. I haven't lost to any of these guys, and I play across 5 different stores, so I get a lot of different variety of people who try to do stuff, and I don't. People used to pick them up originally, and then I think they just realized that it's just not a winning combination. Wat Tambor is fun. He's just like Rex, where there's things you can do in terms of like benefit creating a new unit and or buffing them. But I think the issue with Wat Tambor, just to get him like just to that next level, is that um there's too much other stuff that needs to occur to make his ability work. So, if a friendly unit was defeated this phase, which could be exploit, which could be defeated, whatever, but it first requires a unit to be taken out, defeated, and then you create the action, and then you can attack. So there's three stages just to that front side ability, and then in the epic action, if it's the same thing, you may his on attack if a unit friendly unit was defeated, or you get to do the same thing. Um, Sorry, let me just move that myself a little bit. Uh, Again, there's too many stages to answer, right? And even though he could probably go really wide, and you have just like token after token after token, or unit after unit after unit going at it, it's just uh I mean, it's just too slow, in my opinion, to truly take it to the top. So that's why I think he's playable. Again, you'll get some wins. Fun, fun leader to play. But again, uh, I just don't think he's gonna get there. Chancellor Palpatine is intriguing to me, and the reason he's in the C tier, not in like B, because actually think he's probably a little better than what I'm grading him, is because he's kind of difficult for new players to play. Ease of when I think about ease of use, right? And then also, it takes a lot of skill to like manage the fact that you have to flip both sides. There's a lot of different like lines, like to like the matrix you have to figure out to make him work. But when he does, he's clicking, it's solid. I mean, I've seen in one draft, one of the people that I play with, he was taking it down. He went 2-0 in a draft. And then I played him and I won, but like I mean, I probably just got a little lucky in that sense. But Emperor Darth Sidious, Chancellor Palpatine, great card. He's borderline here. I'm putting him in C mostly because of the challenge in which it takes to really make him work well, right? I would potentially even swap him with Yoda in this sense because Yoda maybe might go down a tier. I have him up, but I love Chancellor Palpatine. I love Darth Sidious as like this like dual side leader. I've actually played it. Didn't do too well the first time in terms of like draft and sealed, but I can see why he's gaining in popularity, and I'll maybe boost this up as we go on in the season. So for B tier, you're gonna see some changes here. So for whatever reason, I thought Quinlan Voss was just like a red herring for the beginning of the set. I'm clearly wrong here, and I'm okay with admitting that. He is a really good leader. I've seen him really successful with Quinlan ECL and just other colors as well. His ability to just do ping damage on curve is fantastic, and generally you're going to get those off. He comes out at 5 as a 3/7. You could still throw in General's Blade and cheat out some units. He is a solid leader, and he's a little complicated to play if you don't or to remember what to do. Because he has his one played his flip side is a little bit different. It's anything that's below the cost versus it has to be exact cost. That's a little that can be a little confusing. But he's pretty good. And then he's pretty good coming out in cunning or with cunning. There's a lot of options there. Pleasantly surprised. I'm happy I was wrong with Quinlan Voss. Yoda, I brought down a couple tiers as well. I think that although his action ability is pretty good, he comes out a little too late. His restore 2 is okay. His deploy removal is fine, but again, just like kind of like what I talked about with Wat Tambor in the previous tier, there's a lot of setup that's required with Yoda. I mean, when it's clicking, it is clicking really, really well. And I've seen Yoda Yellow specifically do okay at locals. I actually don't recall, and I could be wrong. If anyone out there feel correct me, like I haven't seen any like Yodas take down any really big, I don't know, at least 16, 20, 30 person events. Just haven't seen it yet. Like plus, just haven't seen it yet. And maybe someone's gonna crack that code, but I think I was really high on him. I think I'm going down. Same thing with Obi-Wan. I really like Obi-Wan. I have his deck. I created a couple versions of his deck, pretty active on some discords and like talking about him. I think that he has a lot of play. He's not really hard to figure out. He's really forgiving for easy for new players because you can heal your units. So if you're making mistakes, I found that this makes it so that Tarkin Towns. It takes them out of play. I found this a good counter to a lot of other abilities, and it's okay for me to be reactive here. And I think his on attack ability to heal 1 damage from one unit, then do damage to another, is a great two health swing on the board. Again, a lot of wins, really easy, really forgiving as a leader because he also has a built-in Sentinel. right? And so that's really good for both constructed and limited, just in general. So, uh, solid B tier for me. I don't know if he's going to take it down in the future. I think he's done well. I think we've seen him do well in a couple bigger tournaments, but maybe someone will crack the code like Yoda, but I think he's going to be solid uh competitor. I don't think he's going to take it all the way. Asajj Ventress also B tier. Not that I think she's necessarily bad, and I know that I'm probably downgrading a lot of things that don't need to be downgraded, because I'm a little more conservative with my grading system. And noted earlier, there's a couple different points I make, but Asajj Ventress, she's just too easy to answer. She flips on four. I love that. That's really fast, but a lot of things can just take her down. Regardless of take down as an ability, like a lot of things can just defeat her. Like I don't think I've with my Obi-Wan deck, I take down Osage Ventress day in, day out. She has some legs. I think that, you have to be scared, like you have to be concerned. You can't take your foot off the gas with her because of her ability to play with a unit. And if takes a attack with a unit, and if you play an event, which you probably will, like Waylay, or something like that, she can pump out so much damage. But I think smart competitors know what to do against her. Anyway, solid B tier. We'll pull some wins. I think she'll get some top 16s, stuff like that. But I don't know if she's going to take it all the way in competitive play. But she is really fun in draft. But even she's really fun in draft. But there's a lot of, like I said, just answers. So at the 5 resource turn, just throw down the armored saber tank. What's she going to do? Nothing. It's just too painful. It's too easy to answer her. But fun. And then A tier. I don't, to be clear, I'm gonna move myself here. I don't have any S tier ranks, so I'm reserving S tier rank for anything that is almost like Boba, like is just going to 100% take out like s- the super majority of the competition out there. But I will say that what we're seeing, especially in the competitive scene right now, and even in like local scene and drafting, I've seen these two leaders just take it all the way, all the time. I mean, you don't even need to build a really good deck to do okay with them. Jango Fett, as an ability, just whenever a unit deals damage to an enemy unit, whenever friendly unit deals damage to an enemy unit, just exhaust the leader and then exhaust that enemy. That's crazy. That's super powerful. And then on the flip is that just you don't exhaust the leader anymore. You just whenever you do damage. So you, you there's ships out there that ping damage, just pop, 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 pop. You stop the entire side of the board, and you can just have your way with your opponent. It is nasty. I've just seen Django take down so many different people, and that's like just really easy to play in that sense. Sometimes you'll forget like the lines, but it's just like Obi-Wan. He's very forgiving in that sense because if you make a mistake, it's okay to recover. It's very easy to recover. Because the damage, you just have to do one damage and you can exhaust, and you're not taking damage back. Anakin Skywalker, I think is a little lower tier than Django, obviously, but he's still really solid here, because he allows you to create a lot of new lines that you wouldn't necessarily have in Do Reach and do a lot of value trades, which is just fantastic. In general, you get to do you get to do so many different things, especially early in the game. And then when he flips, you are at a minimum of 4/7 with Overwhelm. You're probably 5 or 6 at that point, which is just really good. And particularly in draft, when people either pick him or Django, like I know those are like they're like winners, and like of any color really. Like it doesn't need to be blue, it doesn't need to be yellow, it doesn't mean it's whatever is it's gonna happen, right? He's just a really good character. Easy to answer. I think he's pretty. To me, he's relatively easy to answer in competitive play because I mean if his decks, I mean specifically, like if you just take him out, the deck generally has no more legs to stand on because they're not gonna want to do 2 more damage to the base to do trades because at that point of the game at 6 resources, they're probably already at 15 to 20 damage minimum, right? And you're probably 1 or 2 big swings away, so they're not going to use that. They probably won't use that ability as much anymore. Unless you're building something like Overwhelm deck, right? So again, these two are A tier. So you're gonna get a lot of wins. I've seen you're already seeing that happen, and I think a lot of the environment competitive scene is seeing a lot of Django specifically. I'm sure this will change as people answer it, but in terms of set three, I think these two are relatively A tier. And again, no S tier because I haven't unlike Boba Fett from set one, no one has really taken the super majority of the share of wins. There's always answers to other decks. Um, so that's it for now. I'm gonna switch over to a video of an unboxing for convention exclusive, and then stay tuned. Uh, I'll see you on the next clip. So, getting settled here a little bit. I procured a Star Wars Unlimited 2024 exclusive convention pack at PAX Unplugged, and I just want to do a quick unboxing. I know this is a video for tier lists, but I'm just too excited, and I really want to open it finally and share it with you all. It's a really good looking box. It looks like circuitry up front. There's like edging or ridging or something on it, so there's like some texture, which is great. The plastic's a little hard to take out. So give me a second to figure this out. While I do, you'll notice my mat in the background has some signatures. Those are designer signatures that I also got. So I'm going to see if I can add that to my collection. Okay, so look at this box. It looks really good, with the shiny red lines and the black and the silver. Really well designed. Circuit boards up front. You got to pull that out. There's like a tab on the side, a little hole you pull out. It's really tightly packed in there, so kind of hard to take out, which is fine for now. It's not necessarily the smoothest experience, but that's okay. It has this really good, like, not hollow, but like shiny red and silver like cover. I might try to make that into a bookmark, honestly. As you open it up, this is like wax paper holding the cards, and then another Star Wars Unlimited. Looks like the initiative token, just on black on black. It's a good box. There's good quality. You would expect that these boxes retail for like $100 when you try to buy them at the convention. So I'm happy it's not just like some cheesy, flimsy cardboard. So the crinkle here is really, really nice to open. I don't know if I washed my hands. That's my fault if I didn't. I feel bad. But okay, let's look at this card. Count Dooku. This red edging. It's so pretty. Darth Vader. He's pointing out. He's searching for Han and Luke in Battle of Hoth. Look at that, black on red. It's so defining. Emperor Palpatine has this really nice blue tinge on his Force Lightning. These cards are just really pretty. Kylo Ren, especially with all like the red sparks coming out, it just really, really pops on the black. Asajj Ventress, subtle purples, blues, glowing red, optics Force Lighting, really well designed card in terms of aesthetics. And then finally, Darth Maul, with his iconic twin-sided lightsaber, just amazing. I think my favorite one here is actually Darth Vader. I mean, the card's really good, but just look at that. You have a bunch of units behind him. His definitive shadowing, it's just really sticks out there. I just love this card. And that's it. So we'll move on to the next clip. See you there. I hope you enjoyed that short 2-minute video of the unboxing that I did for the 2024 convention exclusive. So if you've stuck with me until the end of this video, here's a special announcement. I actually have procured an extra convention pack, and here, see, it's unwrapped, or it is wrapped, unsealed, brand new. I'm gonna hold this for a period of time. Start in the new year if as long as I hit some certain metrics like 500 or so subscribers, this will be raffled off, and you all who are everyone is listening now, you will get the first dibs. I just need to figure out how to kind of get that set up, and then I will provide a link so that anyone that is following me from the beginning will get priority raffle tickets. I have to figure out how to do that, and potentially global shipping, because I know we have some listeners out there in various parts of the world. But here it is. This is convention exclusive. I bought an extra one specifically for everyone that's on the YouTube channel. And if you're listening to my podcast, Again, just got to figure out some mechanics, but it is here. It's waiting, and I'm excited to do this. Again, I say thank you a lot, but I also like to put my money where my mouth is. So not just words, but actions, and this is gonna be one of them. So thank you for staying tuned, and until next time, may the force be with you.